suffering signs of a possible fifth wave. With winter on the approach, Emmanuel Macron is set to outline the latest government guidance for third shots of the vaccine, and he's also unlikely to change the current nationwide obligation to wear a face mask inside and to use the health pass when accessing places like restaurants, cinemas and sports centres.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at the clarion warning issued on Monday by the World Food Programme, predicting an imminent catastrophe in Afghanistan. David Beasley, the head of the WFP, said the country is on the brink of the worst humanitarian situation on Earth, with 23 million people inexorably heading towards starvation. It will, he said, be hell. Shelley Thakral of the World Food Programme expanded on what her boss had to say about the urgent need for international support.
He spoke so passionately and said, shame on you, world. Shame on you, world, for all the billions of the trillions of money that we have. And yet, children, you're seeing children who are starving, who are undernourished, who are underweight, even families who've had to sell children. I have no words for it. The desperation is that we need money. We need $220 million a month to feed people until the end of the year, and then 2022 we take stock.
The crisis has been sparked not just by political uncertainty with the Taliban back in charge, but by Afghanistan's recent drought and its impending winter. Since the fall of the government headed by President Ashraf Ghani, many Western nations have suspended aid operations in Afghanistan, but the WFP says that is no longer an option if disaster is to be averted. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, Lithuania's government has called for a one-month state of emergency at its regions bordering Belarus as thousands of migrants attempt to cross into the EU. The US has expressed concern over the health of a jailed Chinese citizen journalist. Japan is discussing an economic stimulus package that could total more than $265 billion. And the French president is set to make a nationwide address about the pandemic. That's the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
Waving to the one person on Facebook. Good morning, KCHW 102.7. It's Scott and Val getting started on a Tuesday, which is really rough for us because Tuesdays are our Mondays, right, Val?
Exactly. When the alarm goes off, the one day of the week you have to set your alarm and you're like, what is that horrible noise?
Ew. Meep, meep, meep. Sounds like a truck backing up over me.
Yes.
I'm still having a hard time adjusting to the time change. I was saying it's no big deal. I appreciate that other hour of sleep, but I keep waking up at, I guess it'd be 5 a.m. now instead of my normal 6 a.m. My body is still waking up an hour earlier.
That's the whole thing. Do you remember it being even worse when you had kids?
No, I don't remember much.
I just remember how hard it was adjusting them to the time change. So, no, it really is, 7:30, you need to go to bed.
I guess it's no big deal because I kind of felt like when I woke up and went, it's 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. I thought, I get another hour I can sleep. But then I didn't sleep too well. So as soon as I laid back down, I was laying there, and all of a sudden I felt on my forehead, drip, drip, drip. I'm like, oh, no, there's a leak in the roof. Mm-hmm. Yep.
No.
It's coming right down the furnace. There's a gas furnace in my bedroom, and it's coming right down the furnace, the chute, like where the exhaust, I guess, the chimney. And it's coming right down and dripping on the top of the furnace. But then when it hits, because it's falling so far, it splatters. Right? So this one drop turns into this fine mist all over your face. So, but that's when I got an extra hour, and I laid down. All of a sudden, I was getting misted. So.
Speaking of misted, what's the weather like in Chewelah?
Oh, man, it's raining out there this morning. We got rain and even possibly snow, depending where you are, if you're up a little higher. It's all going to change to rain this afternoon. High of 42, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. 100% chance of rain.
It is raining hard out there. I was kind of expecting to wake up to snow just because we're generally, 10 degrees colder than whenever they predict for Deer Park. But we had a little bit of slush on the deck, and it's raining really hard, but no snow. So.
All right. 31 for an overnight low tonight under mostly cloudy skies, and just a 25% chance of rain, so it'll be slowing down. Partly cloudy for your Wednesday, 44 and 31, just a 10% chance of rain. 44 and 37 for Thursday with morning rain and snow showers at 35%. Friday right now, rain showers, 47 and 40 for the high and low. And this weekend looking like 49 on Saturday with afternoon rain, and right now Sunday showers at 37% and a high of 48. So it's I guess you could almost say warming back up a little and very, very wet this week.
Well, it'd be nice if the hills were getting snow, but if it gets that warm, they probably won't even be.
No. Well, maybe the ski hill because they're up high enough. It drops quickly, I guess. All right, there's your weather forecast. Let's see some news headlines from across the world today. Popping in, I didn't see anything really that got my attention. You are seeing, I guess, one of the stars of General Hospital just got fired because he wouldn't get vaccinated. So yeah, I thought that okay. Even the actors are losing their jobs.
Actors, pro sports people, yeah.
What was weird is listening to the news this morning. If some of you caught it, might not have caught it if you were listening on Facebook or YouTube. But listening to the news, this isn't just in America. It's happening all over the planet. That people are losing their jobs. And the vaccine requirements, not just the things that are happening in America, other countries as well, just requiring, I caught just a piece of it, they were saying they're requiring boosters even to be taken.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, it was a foreign country, though. It wasn't here in America. As far as America... America. Let's see, I'm trying to get back to where I was. I had it all pulled up.
Aren't we all?
Yes. Yeah. How long ago was it now? Get back to where I was. Yeah. It does seem like things are not going to change anytime soon. Talking to people about events that are coming up, we were hoping to be able to pull off another Chewella's Got Talent for our 10th anniversary, but it's just not looking like that's possible. We were hoping... with that far off when we were talking about it about 4 months ago, that maybe we could have people sitting side by side again. But a talent show is something that you can't socially distance because it only happens in one night. To get your audience for there, and to have a talent show with an audience of 50 doesn't really make sense. So right. It's just another thing that's going to go by the wayside, which is too bad because it would have been really fun for our 10th anniversary to do another talent show.
Yes. And I kind of think we hit on this before, but I mean, sanitizing the mics between, uses and all of that stuff too would be logistically hard.
I have two friends right now that are here in Chewelah that are both in lockdown with COVID, and they were both vaccinated.
We're seeing a lot of breakthrough cases.
Now,
do you know which vaccine they had?
I do not off the top of my head. No, I know they were both double shotters, but I don't know whether they got the Pfizer or the Moderna. But both of them are well. Okay, so they're locked down and they're staying home and they're sick, so they don't transfer it. But as far as talking to them on the phone, they say aches and pains, but I don't really feel that sick. I feel like I could go do something or out and about. It's not really hampering me. And the one makes me really happy because he's got it and he's 92. So
and he's just feeling a little off, but not horrible.
Exactly. He said, I'm a little stuffed up, and you could kind of hear it in his nose and stuff. But he said, no, I feel pretty good for having it for several days. But so there is, an example of someone that had the vaccine, caught it anyways, but it's still probably that vaccine is saving his life because to him it's like just kind of a mild stuffed up head and a few aches and pains, where... without that shot, maybe it would have taken him out, at that age.
Yeah, and we have a friend who is in his 80s that had both vaccines and caught COVID as well. And he struggled a little bit. I mean, I think he had to go get oxygen one day, but that makes you realize that without the vaccine,
how bad would it have
he
been?
wouldn't be surviving. So...
All right. So, strict vaccine mandates taking place in Los Angeles today. Measure requires proof of COVID-19 shots for everyone entering a wide variety of businesses, from restaurants to malls to theaters to nail and hair salons. You're not getting in if you don't show your card. This is getting weird.
Well, we had a friend who was not vaccinated, does not plan on ever getting vaccinated, but he was upset that there are restaurants saying we will not serve you if you don't have proof of vaccination. And he's like, that has to be a HIPAA violation. And I'm like, actually, it's not.
Well, he was hoping it was a HIPAA violation,
but
right?
he was hoping. I'm like, no, they're not asking you what your specific medical, condition is or anything like that. Just saying you have to prove you were vaccinated.
All right, before feasting on pancakes, burgers, milkshakes inside the Fred 62 Diner in Los Angeles, patrons must now fork over proof of the COVID-19 vaccines for a waiter's inspection under new city coronavirus rules. I feel so sorry for the employees that are going to have to ask this.
Oh, you know the amount of abuse they're getting.
Oh, that is so unfair. The Greasy Spoon, famous for putting an L.A. spin on diner food, is one of the thousands of businesses across the city where patrons were required to show proof of their vaccine status on Monday as new measures aimed at slowing the spread of the coronavirus took effect. I wonder, businesses, are there people out, is this just kind of a please do it kind of thing, or are there actually government people out there writing tickets, making note of who participates and who's not? I just kind of curious.
As far as whether they're enforcing their mandates?
Yeah, all these mandates, they're really hard to enforce, actually. You just, I mean, the governors put them out there, and then they just kind of hope that everybody's going to go along with it. So.
Well, you look at the mask mandates for, because it's still in effect for us, but the number of businesses that aren't enforcing it, I think outweighs the ones that are, probably 9 to 1.
Oh, easily. I don't see, especially bigger businesses, they're not even attempting to get they got a sign on their door, but other than that, they could care less. There's very few places I've been in. Hats off to the casino, because they will accost you at the door and make you put one on. And, they will find you inside, and if you've taken it off, and make you put it back on or ask you to leave. So, I've noticed downtown, one business that has a sign on it that says mandatory. You will be asked to leave if you will not put on a mask. Mm-hmm. But that's far and few between, and I can't blame business people for not wanting to police their patrons. Maybe even lose customers.
Right, and I think that's harder when you have a small business, like a small business, owner ran in Chihuahua. It's pretty hard. You don't want to lose those customers. I think for a bigger restaurant in Spokane or whatever, it'd be like, if you're not happy, go somewhere else. But it's really hard if you have a small business you're trying to keep afloat.
Well, and it's we're talking about losing customers, and too, that can be a big deal, especially when you're in a rural community, and which typically to be more Republican, which typically have more people not wearing masks. It does tend to follow those party lines of people that will refuse to wear one, and so when you get into these rural communities, there's a lot more than that, and so your base of customers might be 70% Republican, and let's say 40% of those don't want to mask up. Are you going to alienate all those people, make them mad, maybe because I've heard people before, I'm never coming here again. Well, you might be better off without that customer.
I've just seen, not even regarding masks, but I've just seen so many more people that are freaking out about other requirements now, which seems, it's like, I don't know where we were the other day, and I think it was at a pharmacy, and the gal, needed to, for some reason, see the guy's ID or whatever and flip out. And it's like, I just feel like people are generally way more sensitive and more easily aggravated about requirements. And so, yeah, it's interesting to me. Well, it's like the door's been thrown open. Get mad about whatever you want.
That's right. That's right. And they seem to forget that, well, you've been buckling up for years now.
Well, and I hate to see the abuse for the staff, the employees. Like you said, you get to be the unlucky one that tells somebody they can't come in because they're not wearing a mask, because the amount of abuse they take is horrible.
It is. And you've seen it. You've been standing in a store and you've heard somebody mouthing off to the clerk that's just trying to do their job. And I've been saying be nice for 2 years. It hasn't worked. I would hope, people just
I've been trying to be nicer to you,
and it's not working. So that's the sad part about it, and that people seem to forget that they've been wearing shoes and shirts. That's what I was saying months ago. I was saying, if you don't want to wear your mask in the Quickie Mart, they got a sign there that you never complained about before. It says no shoes, no shirt, no service. You're just adding mask to that list. And if you really want to stand up for yourself, go in there naked. And then I'll shut up.
Well, and the other one we've talked about before is, how long has it been that you can't smoke in a business, or that if you are smoking, you need to be 25 feet away from the entrance? I mean, we have all those other laws that people might have been upset about at the beginning, but then eventually accepted them. So,
like seatbelts. So I think if and the cops are going to love this one. I think if the cops would go up and write a ticket to everybody that wasn't wearing a mask that should be, people would start masking up real quick.
Or the city would get rich real quick.
Either way, maybe it should happen just to shut people up and end the conversation. You're not wearing a mask, you get a ticket.
Yeah. Yep. And it doesn't have to be a huge fine, but something. It worked with seatbelts. That's all I'm saying. And people forget that we have these other social rules, to control things. And basically, seatbelts they didn't care about protecting you. They're trying to keep insurance costs down. Exactly. And I think that's why insurance companies have started talking about, not covering expenses for people that catch COVID and didn't have the vaccine. So I think in some ways, like you said, whether it's seatbelt, helmets, all of that, it's the insurance companies that are kind of forging ahead with things like that.
Well, and it's true. If you're in an automobile accident and you were not wearing your seatbelt and you're crippled and you went through the windshield, your insurance company is not going to pay up. You weren't wearing your seatbelt. And it's the same thing they're saying. I have a buddy who got 2 bags of antibodies at $20,000 each. And he was not vaccinated. The hospitals are saying, and the insurance companies, you're going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. It would have been free if you would have got a shot, but you didn't, so.
Stinks to be you right now.
Here's a bill for $40,000. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think, especially as people, maybe at some point, realize that those of us that have gotten vaccinated aren't magnetic or sterile, but I think there's always going to be the people that are going to say, you can't tell me what to do. But believe me, the man tells you what to do all the time.
He does.
The man tells you to pay taxes, go the speed limit, wear clothes in a grocery store. The man tells you what to do all the time. So,
so don't pick and choose what you're going to be okay with and what you're not going to be okay with.
Yeah.
All right.
Or even if you're not okay, you generally comply.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it'll be interesting a year from now, what we're talking about and what we're seeing. And, yeah.
Well, and then there's a scary thing that, keeps going around, too, is this isn't going to end, this isn't going to end. And when I hear that, I go, no, COVID will eventually end like other diseases do. But the problem is our planet's overpopulated. So these kind of viruses that we've seen, like the swine flu and Ebola and a myriad of other ones that are coming along, and now COVID, this kind of stuff isn't going away, and it is only gonna get worse.
I agree.
It just is. There's too many people on a planet, and we haven't developed enough space travel.
Exactly. Dr. Fauci was saying, though, that we are never going to eradicate COVID-19. He said the only disease we've ever eradicated was smallpox. So this is going to generally be with us from here on out, but as we get better treatments, as we get, the vaccines out there and all that, we're going to be able to control it. But according to him, we're never going to eradicate it. So I think it's just going to be your seasonal flu shot.
Well, COVID was here before COVID-19.
Oh, yeah.
It's number 19. There was COVID 1 and 2 and 3. And so it's been around a long time. This is just the latest version, and it's a pretty hardcore one. So
yeah, it's a pretty deadly one. Yeah.
All right.
I agree completely. I mean, this is just, this is for us the first pandemic we lived through, but it may not be the last, or it's definitely not going to be, the last for our children.
Sign of the times kind of thing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, you just think, you look at any situation where there's too much of the population, something happens. And even this year, it was nature related, but with the drought we had this year, our deer population, it'll be interesting to see numbers, but it's been decimated because they got the chronic wasting disease because of that and the blue tongue. So we're looking at overall our climate changes and what it did just in 1 year to our deer population.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're starting off with a lot of depressing stuff.
We are. Should we move on to something happy?
Maybe in a minute.
Okay. You're not quite done yet?
I'm not quite done with the depressing stuff that's out there.
Oh, fine. I'll get my box of tissues and I'll make it through.
So I was saying what's going to happen to businesses that don't comply and that kind of stuff. It says under new OSHA rules, workers who don't get the shot must undergo frequent coronavirus testing and will have to wear a face mask to work starting December 5th. Those alternatives give employers a little leeway when it comes to issuing a company-wide vaccine mandate. Let's see. Here is an attorney who says the employer has the option to not require those employees to be vaccinated if they'll comply with masking and testing mandates. He is a labor attorney with the firm Eckert Siemens in Philadelphia. He said, but large businesses that don't require vaccines or implement the new standards for testing and masks could face a penalty of up to $13,653 per violation. And so they've turned this over to OSHA now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I had that conversation with a friend who is the senior district manager for a company in Spokane. And we just talked about that OSHA requirement. I'm like, he's like, he wasn't so on board with it. And I'm like, listen, OSHA tells you already that your employees have to wear a hard hat in this situation. OSHA tells you already that your ladders need to be compliant. OSHA tells you that you have to have different safety things in place. And so, again, there are these requirements that have been there all along. So this is just one other requirement to keep your employees safe.
And if it was something that said, okay, everybody just has to wear steel-toed boots, period, we'd still be angry.
Well, I know my son is working for a company, and he had to get up on some scaffolding, and he got his tushy chewed for not having his safety harness on. Ooh. So, there's just those situations that, they're going to make you comply because the business doesn't want to get in trouble when you get hurt or anything like that. So,
well, I was wondering how they were going to force this, and there's my answer. Doing it through OSHA, who's already set up for that kind of stuff and could already fine businesses. So it says OSHA could fine a company 10 times that $13,000 amount if it appears to be flagrantly ignoring federal rules. Mm-hmm. So that can, wow. So up to 100, all of a sudden it jumps to $130,000 per violation if they're flagrant about it. So, wow. so there's going to be some things coming down the line, and people that are resistant to it, you're working for big companies and factories and stuff, they're going to be forced into this mandate or be hit in the pocketbook, which means they're going to turn around and force it upon their employees too. And then there's going to be more people that still to come that have to make this choice. Do I get the shot or do I lose my job? It's a tough choice.
And I am perfectly fine. I just look at how hard it is to get employees anyway right now. And I'm perfectly fine with a business saying, I'm not going to do a vaccine mandate, but as long as you're on my premises, you will wear a mask and you will get tested weekly. I think that's a good compromise. So, I don't want us to be losing firefighters, and I don't want us to be losing police officers and nurses and doctors. So let's flip that, okay? Fine. Don't get it. It's your personal choice if that's the way you want to look at it, but you must follow these safety precautions.
Makes sense. So, I mean, it won't to everybody, but it is trying to keep people safe. So whether you like it or not. So
exactly. And if you have a nurse that refuses to wear a mask when they go into the operating room, guess what? They're going to be fired. And so, again, it's not that far out of what we have accepted as rules for years. It's just this different situation.
All right, so more trouble coming down the pike. That's all we're telling you. Is this ain't over, and these new mandates coming out of the government onto businesses is going to cause a lot more problems in workplaces, and I think there's going to be a lot more people losing their jobs. And we already have a problem with the distribution network around the country, and they're talking about supplies and containers held up at ports and all that kind of stuff. And as we lose employees, it just adds to this whole thing of a slowdown. And the scary thing is if we end up in another, I mean, we're already seeing hyperinflation. We end up in a real recession over this kind of stuff too. It's just going to make everything worse. So that's what's scary.
Well, and we look at how much of our products we get from China and, Taiwan. So some of that is, what are their safety precautions on their end look like? I would imagine China is. I mean, we saw what they did to their citizens when the pandemic first hit. But I mean, you have to have a healthy workforce from wherever you're getting your products. Whether it's the Tyson chicken outbreak we saw when this all started. I mean, if your employees aren't healthy, you can't put out product. And now we no longer have drumsticks at the grocery store. So, so it's just things like that it has to, I mean, if you don't want to comply for any other reason, without compliance, we are going to continue to experience shortages, whether it's food or products or whatever.
And there's even been situations where they've had to kill livestock because they couldn't move it. And they were so it's this huge ripple and domino effect.
There is.
All right. Have you ever heard of the island of Tuvalu? Tuvalu. It's off of Scotland. Let's see. Did I get that right? Is it off Scotland? Yes. Glasgow, Scotland. Tuvalu is sinking. This is claims of the island nation. This is the finance minister, Stephen Pinu, who claims island nation as he sits down for an interview with Yahoo News at the UN climate change. He said, we have 11,000 residents. So this is an island of 11,000 people. Its highest elevation is roughly 15 feet.
Oh, wow.
And guess what? They're all going to have to move. He says, we are now living in climate change in Tuvalu and are seeing land fast disappearing. They were at COP26 to kind of speak up. Panel 56 says firsthand how rising seas have begun to eat away at his homeland. He says water just infiltrating the water links below the land. Places where water doesn't come through now is all flooded on the island. He said there are storm surges when there are cyclones that come and they just wash right across the entire island.
Wow.
So I don't know how many years they got left, but they're proponents for climate change rules, but it isn't going to help them. They're still going to have to move. So that's kind of the sad part of that one.
Yeah, it's like closing the barn door after the horses are already out at this point, right?
I mean, there's nothing they can do to fix that. They're too close to the edge. Yeah. All right, let's move on to funner stuff. Let's go into today's Bits and Breaks. Popped on Facebook. I got a big hello this morning from Chuck. So thumbs up to Chuck for listening and tuning in. We appreciate that.
Morning, Chuck.
Let's see, Bits and Breaks, Val. You were a reverse burglar.
If you're a reverse burglar, you have to put something in the homeowner's house that would very mildly convenience them.
Huh.
All right?
Okay.
All right.
Is this something I'm going to have to start doing, like breaking into people's house to convenience them?
Yeah. To make their life easier.
Okay. I can do that.
All right. So you could sneak in a slightly better blender than the off-shelf Walmart deal they've got in their pantry.
Oh, that'd be kind of nice.
Yeah. How about this, Scott? You could sneak in and replace their 1-ply with 2-ply.
Thank you very much.
That's better than good quality toilet paper.
I'll never forget about the case you stole. And when you steal a case of toilet paper, you deserve to get 1-ply. I'm just saying.
Just saying. It wasn't stolen. It was borrowed.
Oh, have you given it back yet?
No, but she still got a whole. We went to her storage unit the other day, and she still has cases in there that she's never even touched in the 3 years.
Oh, wow.
2 years.
So now it's old 1-ply.
Yes, exactly. Right. Probably a little bit of moisture in it, starting to mildew at this point.
Ew.
Scott would like this if you convenienced him in this way. If you snuck into his house and left some fresh baked cookies.
Oh, yeah. Chocolate chip, please. That's all I'm saying.
This one surprises me. A candle. How much convenience is that giving someone? Unless it's a really good smelling, nice one from Bath and Body or something.
I don't know, but us guys had a discussion like on Thursday or Friday last week how pretty much all candles just stink. So
that's a man's response.
Yes.
A woman lives for a good smelling candle.
Guys, that stinks. Can you blow it out?
Oh, I would do that. I would like this if somebody snuck into my house and left me a brand new vacuum cleaner.
I don't know what it is. I have a bad vacuum cleaner buying habit. I get the worst ones, no matter what they are. I get the worst ones. I'm just going to give up buying vacuums.
And it's funny because my husband hates my Dyson, but I like my Dyson. So I don't know. I guess to each their own.
The last one I got, I think it's a Hoover. And it literally sounds like a semi-truck when you fire it up. It's the loudest vacuum ever. I mean, I could bring it in here and put it by the microphone and turn it on, and you'd be like going, wow.
But does it suck?
It does. It does. In more ways than one. It actually it goes. It's got such a loud motor, and it's so powerful. It actually kind of pulls it. It's not a self-propelled, but it pulls. If you aim it the right way on the tread of the carpet, it'll just go by itself all the way across the room. It literally will take off. That roller is going so fast and propel itself. It's kind of dangerous. I got Mooch's tail once.
Oh, poor baby.
And it will eat anything, including its own cord. You know how most vacuums, you can take them over their own cord and they ignore it? Not this one. It will inhale it. So it's like, I bought a vacuum cleaner that should have had a 6-cylinder, but they put in the big block V8.
Hey, as long as it does a good job, you can wear earphones and continue to vacuum. Put the cat in the bathroom so she doesn't get accosted. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
How about if somebody snuck in your house and dusted the top of your refrigerator?
I would never be able to tell because I've never seen the top of a refrigerator.
Same here.
Huh? That's something way up there I never even worry about.
Yeah, and OSHA doesn't want you to get on that rickety old step stool.
Exactly.
And then finally, how about this one? Because I think I definitely need this, is an extra charger with an extra long cord.
Ooh. I just upgrade your outlets so you've got USB jacks all over your house.
There you go.
I kind of like that. So I did that in the RV. So and anywhere there's an outlet, there's a USB plug too. You don't need to go take your little adapters camping or nothing. So pretty cool.
And I've got we inherited one of those chairs that you can hit the button and the foot comes up and it will lift you out of the seat if you have some disabilities and stuff. But I was looking in and it had like a USB charger on the end of the remote thing, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So I plugged my phone in and it said, this charger is super slow and maybe you should try a different one. And I was like, well, so much for that.
And have you ever used one of those that says your phone is charging slowly, and you come back? You can come back 24 hours later, and you've gained 5%. You're like, oh, it should say really slowly.
Because mine, if I plug it into my official charger, I mean, my phone will charge in an hour. So yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So that was it for the things you could do to convenience.
All right. My Facebook question for today is for people who take 2 stairs at a time. What do you do with all your extra time?
People like you and I, it's impossible to take 2 stairs.
I'm too little. My legs don't stretch that far.
My husband can do that. I'm like, that's not fair. No wonder why I get out of breath going upstairs and he doesn't. He does half as many.
All right. I have a thing about apples this morning, trying to keep everybody happy and healthy. Reasons to eat an apple a day. Apples are filled with soluble fiber, 5 grams of it. This fiber has been shown to reduce intestinal disorders, including diverticulitis, hemorrhoids, and possibly some types of cancer. I hate saying words like that on the radio. It helps control insulin levels by releasing sugar slowly into the bloodstream. It cleanses and detoxifies, which helps eliminate heavy metals such as lead and mercury. Yes, those apples are good for you.
Oh, well, as long as they're not covered with pesticides.
That's true. So apple pectin helps reduce cholesterol levels by lowering insulin secretion. In 2 studies, researchers found that eating 5 apples a week lowered the risk for respiratory diseases like asthma. Huh? What?
Oh, you better buy a case, Scott.
I guess so. According to Chinese medicine, apples strengthen the heart, quench the thirst, lubricate the lungs, decrease mucus, and increase bodily fluids. Let's just stop
whether
right
you want
there.
them increased or not.
That's right. Studies indicate that eating apples daily can reduce skin diseases. According to a Brazilian study, eating an apple before a meal helped women lose 33% more weight than those who didn't. So eat an apple.
I'm going to grab some apples right now.
An apple only has 50 to 80 calories, and it has no fat and no sodium. Also packed with vitamin C, A, and flavonoids.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's been said for decades that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and it sounds like it really does.
Yeah, it says they're packed with vitamin C, A, flavonoids, and smaller amounts of phosphorus, iron, and even calcium. All right.
I am so terrible about eating vegetables. I mean, absolutely terrible. I might have a fruit. I might have fruit once a month. I am terrible. I do not eat fruit.
Well, you need to get over that.
I guess so.
Find something you like. There's a lot of the, in the apple sauces even and stuff now that I noticed are organic and no sugar added. That's the stuff I always reach for, no added sugar. Apples provide a source of potassium. So, I'm allergic to bananas, so I can never get that potassium for leg cramps and that kind of stuff. I had no idea. Apples are packed full of it too. Great source of potassium, which may promote heart health as well. All right.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like I should be eating apples.
I think we all should. So there's some good stuff. All right. What else you got, Val? You got some stuff. Where does time go?
Where does the time go? Here's how many years the average human spends on the mundane things of life.
Okay.
All right. Sleep. You sleep for 23 years of your life.
Wow.
So it truly is a third of your day, right?
Yep.
All right. Work. You work for 19 years of your life.
Some more, some less.
Exactly.
But we're getting more sleep, though.
Yes. So what's really sad is that we work 19 years of our lives, but our leisure activities for only 9 years.
That should be switched, shouldn't it?
It should be.
I can't wait till I live in a utopia. It's too bad I'll probably have to die to get there.
We travel for 7 years out of our lives, and that includes your morning commute.
Oh. You've never lived anywhere where you had a real commute, Val. You've been in Deer Park pretty much your whole adult life, haven't you?
I have. My biggest commute was when I lived in Deer Park and worked downtown Spokane, and I hated that drive.
Because even people in Spokane, they have no idea what it is to live on the coast and spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just to get to work. That's not even getting your way back home.
I couldn't do it.
I usually, because I had a split shift job too, which made it worse sometimes, but I would spend at least 3 hours a day on the freeway. That is a gross way to live. I mean, if I got lucky, maybe it was 2.5. But generally, because of that split shift thing, I spent 3 hours a day driving. That's gross. Yeah.
That stinks. Yeah.
Driving
and I would
at
imagine
5 miles an hour.
So, I mean, these are averages. So, I mean, evidently, people that live in Eastern Washington have nowhere near that 7 years. And for people living in a populated area, that might be 2 or 3 times your 7 years, right?
Yep. Totally.
All right. Eating. 6 years of our lives we spend eating.
It looks like I've been spending 60 years eating.
Again, this is average.
Okay.
Illness, 3 years of our lives we spend not feeling well.
Okay.
All right. Personal care, 2 years.
Okay. This is total. After you die, this is the amount of time you spent doing these things. Okay.
Exactly. You spend 1 year of your life with religion.
That's enough. Sorry. That was a joke.
Well, I'm sure they're counting that 1 hour a week that people go to church. And then channel surfing on your TV, you spend 1 year of your life doing that.
I think I spend a lot more because of Netflix and stuff.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I think we're probably spending more channel surfing than we are in religion, and that's probably wrong.
Well, and I don't think, when you have Netflix, I don't think you do channel surfing as much, right? I mean, it's when you're on regular TV and you're trying to scroll through and find a channel you like or something you want to watch. I think maybe with streaming services, you kind of, I don't know, you turn it on, you stay there.
Yeah, but you're still going through movie after movie trying to find one that you think might be good. It's no different than channel surfing.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And then I want to know how many years of our lives we spend watching a movie that you're like, God, I should have never watched this. That was stupid.
Yes.
I should have turned it off within the first 5 minutes.
Pretty much anything with Ron Perlman will waste your time.
Come on, you don't like Hellboy?
Oh, those were his own. Okay, excluding the Hellboy movies, anything with Ron Perlman will waste your time because he will take, any B movie monster. He will be.
But I thought you spent a lot of time watching Beauty and the Beast.
No. All right, I've got one called age verification. If you're done.
Okay, I am.
All right. Verify your age by talking about your childhood. So this is like you go into the liquor store, and the liquor store clerk says, I need some age verification. And I say, well, AT&T was the only telephone company. They owned the phone in my house and rented it to me. You dialed a number with an actual dial that turned and made a series of clicks by... And that's when the liquor store clerk says, Scott, enjoy your purchase.
I had to get off the couch to turn the TV channel.
Yes, exactly what I'm talking about. All right, to liquor store clerk, I'll need some age verification. I say, I used to buy the newspaper on Friday just to get the TV listings for the next week. Clerk says, enjoy your purchase. All right, age verification number 3. I'll need to see some age verification. Me? Remember when someone would pick up the phone in the house and you'd lose connection to the World Wide Web? Liquor store clerk says, enjoy your purchase.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they have no idea what that was like, and I can still hear the modem sound in my head.
I was watching some sci-fi show, and that was how the robot connected. It was really cute. I think it was a joke.
Yes.
All right, Val, you're up.
All right, things you didn't know yesterday.
Okay, from the smartest girl I know.
It snows on Mars.
No way. Really?
Yeah, I was shocked by that one. Definitely something I didn't know yesterday.
All right.
Oh, now here's a great thing if you're going to be swimming in the ocean, something you really need to know. Sharks don't like magnets.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Does it mess up their
echolocation or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Huh. Or is it just fridge magnets because they're dumb? Okay, sorry.
That's what you have to wear on your scuba diving stuff. Just
cover yourself in
refrigerator
magnets.
magnets all over yourself.
Who'd have thunk?
The Statue of Liberty's index finger is 8 feet long.
Huh. What if they would have taken the next one next to that and put it straight up? Because France gave us the... Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't know. Yeah. How long is that middle finger?
All right.
In Oklahoma, you can be fined for making funny faces at dogs.
Say it isn't so.
What if they make funny faces at you?
That's right.
Roughly 118 million lab animals are used in scientific studies every year.
Ouch. That's kind of
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then my last one is Abe Lincoln signed the first federal income tax into law.
I used to like that guy.
I was going to say he did so many good things. What?
Wow. Yeah, you got to pay for that war somehow.
That's true.
All right, so I saved it from yesterday. It's what Scott thinks about in the shower. All right, my first deep thought in the shower today was strip malls are a whole lot more family friendly than they sound. Think about that one, huh? Strip malls are a whole lot more family friendly than they sound. I liked it so much I had to say it twice.
It reminds me of a story. 'Cause I was thinking the same thing about Hooters, right? The Hooters restaurants.
Yes.
And we had taken our boys. Matt was probably 11 or 12. And he's sitting at the Hooters, and he has his hand, or, his face propped on his hand like this. And he's like, man, this is the best family restaurant ever.
And he thought it was all about the owls.
Yes.
All right. Greatest day of your life just might be tomorrow, and you don't know it yet.
True.
Eye drops are actually blinker fluid.
Which we all wish more people would use.
Someone's parent may have used you as a bad example for their kids, Val. Don't be like her.
Don't be like her.
I was probably used as a bad example. I don't want you hanging out with that Schloffman kid anymore. Right, you will most likely never be in the same building with the people born in the same hospital and day as you again. It's kind of sad, actually. True. All right, bosses want you to go the extra mile, but rarely give you the gas to do it.
So true.
And at some point, every high school yearbook becomes a catalog of the dead.
That's awful. That's awful.
Happy post-Halloween.
Yes.
Wow.
That was written by the Reaper.
That's horrible. But what a good one to end on, huh?
I guess so.
All right. And answer these questions, Val. What did I hit?
Herself in the head?
No. There's a whole list of other things, though, I probably could have hit.
Okay. All right. According to statistics, here are the top 5 objects struck by vehicles other than other cars. This makes sense. Trees.
Darn trees.
Darn trees get in the way of your driving. Same with the wood utility poles.
Okay.
Yeah. Embankments.
Yeah, you can see that. Sliding off the road.
Yep. Or the ditch, which seems, pretty similar there. And a fence.
Oh, Val, you took out a lot of fence.
I've taken out a fence. I've hit a ditch and found the only rock in the ditch.
Nice.
Trees and utility poles, though, I'm good on.
I remember when you were in high school and took your Camaro through the fence and peeled it like a banana.
I did.
Sorry.
Fiberglass did not stand up to that very well.
Sorry. Didn't mean to point that out.
Oh, you'll never let me forget. I'm used to it.
All right.
So what's the weirdest thing you've ever hit?
Where I did damage to my car. To one of the light post in the parking lot. I was backing up really fast and slammed right into one of those, like with the cement around it and the light coming out of it.
Oh, no.
And just bent the back of the car in a nice V. Yeah.
What I'm surprised the one that didn't make the list, and maybe that's because it's more specific to our area, but deer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think in my lifetime I probably hit 3 or 4. And that's why, people that say they're cute, I'm like, no, I hate deer.
They're murderous. They're murderous.
They are. So, yeah, that's one I think should have made the list.
I had one where I hit it with the driver's side headlight, and so it took out the front of the car and rolled all the way to the back of the car, all the way down the car, wrinkled the whole thing, and then somehow managed to tank out the rear taillight and trunk, too. I don't know how it did that.
Talented deer.
Yes, and I just sat on the side of the road. That was our brother's black Olds Cutlass, remember? And then I inherited it, and I sat on the side of the road and I cried for at least 30 minutes for the car.
Oh, yeah, I never cry for the deer.
No, just the car. All right. I did feel really bad though when I hit a moose. I did.
Yes.
I hit a moose in a Honda Civic.
And you lived to tell the tale.
And I lived to tell it. And it's because they're big. I basically went under the moose.
You clipped him at the knees?
Yeah, well, I went right through, the belly area. I mean, it had legs on both sides of the car, and it was horrible. But
wow.
At the time when I hit the moose, I was commuting back and forth to Spokane, and I had an Isuzu Trooper. And after I'd had that accident in my little Honda car, I realized if I would have been driving the Trooper that day, I probably would have been dead. Totally different accident with the vehicle that has a big flat face on it, like a moving toaster, as opposed to a little wedge going underneath the moose. So, all right, enough of that sad stuff.
All right.
We keep ending back there. It's KCHW Chwila, and it's time for Trivia with Val. Got some rough ones today.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
That's how you're going to feel.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Oh, the answer wrong and win today, though, it's stellar. Okay.
Is it?
Yes.
Nice.
1 in 10 Americans eats what more than twice a week? 1 in 10 Americans. Okay.
I was down there thinking you were going to do the other side of the yesterday's trivia, so I saw this answer.
Oh.
So I accidentally saw this answer.
Did you see them both?
No, just the first one.
Okay, what's the answer?
Pizza.
Oh, you win!
Yay! It's the only way I'm getting these right. It's cheat.
Just 3.9 million watched the first televised broadcast of what? And it was 1947. 3.9 million watched the first televised broadcast of this event. It was 1947.
Oh, so it was like an event of some type, not like a newscast or whatever.
Correct.
1947, baseball?
It is. Good job. World Series.
Okay.
When proposing marriage, only 1 in 5 men do this.
Get down on their knees?
Exactly. Well, you're doing good so far. Shopping cart made its supermarket debut in 1937. What feature was added in 1947?
The wheels that wobble.
Good answer, but no.
How about the little seat just for kids?
It is the little seat just for kids. All right. I'm going to give you a set of 3 things, and they have something in common. Tell me what it is, and you win. All right?
Okay.
Talk, case, feather.
What was the middle one?
Talk, case, feather.
Talk, case, feather. Oh, goodness. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Talk.
Pillow.
Case.
Pillow.
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 Oh.
Feather pillow. Pillowcase. And what I like to do, pillow talk. Diamond doorbell crime.
Diamond doorbell crime. Ring.
There you go. Elbow spare guest.
Elbow, spare, and guest.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Elbow would be the easiest one to go with, but elbow grease. No, that's not it. I don't know.
Your house has a spare
room
and a guest
bedroom.
And when you're eating dinner and you got a lefty beside you, you need some more elbow
room.
There you go. Room was the word. You got that?
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for leading me by the nose.
You're welcome. And it's be better if you could get one of those hooks that some of the girls have.
Okay. Not my favorite look.
Sorry. Chocolate money mustache.
Chocolate money mustache. Oh gosh,
Yeah, I didn't know
be
you
easier than it is.
Ah, it should be really easy. Everybody at home already got it. They're posting it on Facebook.
Bar.
Huh?
Chocolate bar.
Chocolate bar? No, milk. Chocolate milk. Milk money.
Oh.
And a milk mustache.
Mustache.
All right.
Okay.
Last one's the toughest. Belly.
I
panic.
used up all my brain power earlier, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. Belly, panic, nose.
Button.
Yes. There you go. Let's see a riddle. I know a word of three. Oh, sorry. I'm going to start over. I know a word of letters 3. Add 2, and fewer there will be. What is it? So it's a word. I know a word of letters 3. It's got 3 letters.
Okay.
Add 2, and fewer there will be. What is it? You'll never get it.
Add 2 and fewer there will be.
I couldn't get it.
Oh, I am terrible at riddles.
All right. The answer was few, and I don't get how they came up with that. So let's go to something I know you can do. Answer wrong and win.
Okay.
Okay?
This I can generally do.
All right. I want a wrong answer, not the true answer. A computer company that's named after a fruit.
That would be the famous fruit, IBM.
If you fill a glass with water just a quarter of the way, what percentage of the glass is full?
Not enough.
What night of the week does Monday Night Football come on?
That would be your Friday night.
Okay.
Which is really fun because nobody watches it.
And that's why nobody knows. Name a fruit you carve around Halloween.
A fruit you carve around Halloween. That would be you, Scott, because you're the fruitiest thing I know.
Oh, make your pumpkin heads look like Scott. All right. Who played Captain James T. Kirk on TV Star Trek?
Ron Perlman.
Oh, he comes back to haunt me. I should have never said that. All right, checking on Facebook. Rich is listening this morning. Rich said, get a shark. I'm an expert. He's talking about those magnets,
The
I
magnets?
guess. Alan.
So everybody should be safe because they were all magnetized by the virus. Or by the vaccine, I should say.
That's right. And then it's that little chip. And then Alan wanted to know if apple cider counted. But not if it's that hard liquor apple cider, Alan. But cider would probably count, I think, for the apple benefit of the apples.
Yeah, as long as you don't have added sugar and stuff. But you're losing the fiber at that point.
Yeah, and Alan, you need fiber.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
And then Ron posted when we were talking about hitting things, how about that moose? All right, thanks for listening and hanging out with us. It's break time where we refill our coffee and use the bathroom and then come back and try to be even dumber.
It's possible.
I have a feeling I'll win. All right, we'll be right back. Keep on listening. It's KCHW 102.7, your morning show brought to you by God-Fearing Brothers.
KCHW is online at kchw.org. Listen to the live stream, find out about station events, memberships, local weather, and volunteering. You're listening to KCHW 102.7.
Your KCHW Morning Show, made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock tires, provide collision repairs, including glass, and they have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast, November the 9th, 2021. I'm Mike Clifford. Labor leaders say North Dakota is poised to benefit from a boost in federal infrastructure spending. Our Mike Mullen reports that's after the Public Works package cleared its final congressional hurdle.
Late last week, the House gave approval to the more than $1 trillion infrastructure bill. The White House had estimated North Dakota could receive around $2 billion for road and bridge repairs, and there's the possibility of $26 million to add more electric vehicle charging stations. Jason Ellert of North Dakota's building trades unions says their members work in all kinds of energy production, and they would welcome advancing the network for EVs.
It's going to create more jobs, more opportunities, and ultimately just bolsters the market.
He says North Dakota unions also are excited about provisions to boost training in the trades, creating lasting pathways for those who enter the profession. But he says members remain worried about the lack of access to child care, while alluding to funding possibilities under Build Back Better, the broader spending package still being debated. The unions say lack of care access hurts families and their ability to work.
Meantime, experts say the consumer rebates outlined in President Biden's Build Back Better Act will help families save money as they shift to clean energy and electrification.
Co-founder of the West Virginia Climate Alliance, Perry Bryant, explains that the rebates, along with tax credits, will save the average family hundreds of dollars per year in energy costs.
In particular, there are tax credits for solar and wind and batteries and also electrical vehicles.
Lawmakers across the U.S., including West Virginia Delegate Rodney Piles, have signed onto a letter calling for climate solutions that overlap with those in the Build Back Better Act. According to polling from Navigator Research, 66% of Americans supported the Build Back Better Act in September. A majority of Americans are worried about global warming, and 55% say they think that people in the U.S. are being harmed by the climate crisis right now. Nadia Ramlagan reporting.
The framework aims to cut greenhouse gas pollution by 1 gigaton by 2030, reduce consumer energy costs, improve the quality of air and water, and advance environmental justice. The New York Times reports the House committee investigating the January 6 attack on the Capitol issued new subpoenas Monday for a half dozen allies of former President Donald Trump, including his former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn. The Times reports one of the people summoned Monday was John Eastman, a lawyer who drafted a memo laying out how Trump could use the vice president and the Congress to try to invalidate the election results. This is PNS. In Michigan, researchers have received a $3.1 million grant to study potential new sources of rare earth metals and how to process them.
Rare earth metals are a set of 17 elements found in the Earth's crust and a key component of many high-tech processes, from military technology to electronic devices, batteries for electric cars, and magnets in wind turbines. The U.S. relies on China for 80% of our rare earth metals, and the prices have spiked over the last year. Wayne State University chemistry professor Matt Allen is one of the lead researchers. He notes that's part of the reason having a consistent supply in the U.S. is critical.
I'm holding an iPhone right now talking to you, and that iPhone has like 200 grams of rare earth elements in it that do a lot of the high-tech processes in there. And so these things are just ubiquitous in modern society.
The research team plans to seek out different sources of these metals in the U.S., from ores that can be mined to waste streams from which rare earth metals can be removed, such as coal ash. I'm Lily Bolke reporting.
As we have been reporting, health officials are now optimistic broad immunity against COVID-19 can be achieved for children. We get an update from the Sunshine State.
COVID infection rates are largely falling in the U.S., but that has been a challenge due to vaccine hesitancy. Tiffany Hellberg with Community Health of South Florida says reaching out in hard-to-reach communities and trying to gain trust is something they've been doing for more than 50 years. But things have been different with COVID.
Of course, this is a greater challenge now as politics has been injected into this medical fight over the pandemic. But nonetheless, we have launched a full court press to try and educate the community from the beginning.
Florida's Republican leaders have been fighting against vaccine and mask mandates. I'm Tremel Gomes.
Finally, Ross Brown tells us storm damage, pollution, and other factors, some related to climate change, are reducing the oyster population. But settlement funds from the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill are now available to restore oyster reefs in the Gulf of Mexico.
Experts estimate the Gulf lost between 4 and 8 billion oysters to the massive oil spill and also saw a loss of reproduction in ensuing years. Chad Hansen with the Pew Charitable Trust says federal and state officials have earmarked almost $40 million for new or improved reefs to help the shellfish reproduce and thrive.
Oysters have been in massive decline over the past couple of decades. Something like 80-90% of oyster reefs have been lost worldwide, and that's indicative in the Gulf as well.
The oyster work is part of a nearly $100 million payout to also help restore sea turtles, marine mammals, and birds.
This is Mike Clifford for Public News Service, member and listener supported, heard on radio stations big and small. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
Over 20 different genres of music each week. You're listening to the Music Education Station, Northern Lights Public Radio, KCHW 102.7.
Good morning, it's KCHW 102.7, looking at 8:32 right now. We've got my sister Val live from Deer Park. Thanks for being here for part 2, Val.
Yes, we're back.
All right, I want to start off with a few local birthdays for today. We're looking at November, and I just hate that already. It's Tuesday. That means we have a birthday for Ellie Hartel and Dylan Durheim. All right, 2 birthdays. There you go. Round of applause. If you know them, you love them, see them around town, tell them we were talking about them on the radio, but don't tell them what we said. Celebrity birthdays for today. Val, you got some good ones?
I do. I was just going to say, don't tell them what we said, because if they really wanted to know, they should have been listening to the radio.
Exactly. That's the secret.
All right. Celebrity birthdays today. Lou Ferrigno. So that might be a way to date us all, too. You know, like we were at the liquor store in that story. Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. He was TV's Incredible Hulk, and he turned 70 today.
Wow. Now, he was deaf, wasn't he?
Hard of hearing, at least, I think.
I remember he had some kind of hearing problem. All right.
Yes, yeah, because then it came across as a speech impediment, but it was because he couldn't hear. All right, TV producer Ryan Murphy from Glee, Nip Tuck, and The American Horror Story is 56 today.
What a wide range of shows he's produced.
For sure. All over the board.
Oh, yeah, from Glee to Nip and Tuck, which was pretty disgusting, and then American Horror Story, which is really creepy. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Eric Dane from Grey's Anatomy is 49. Nick
Leahy. I know it doesn't look like it, but...
Yeah, is 48.
He's a musician. Nobody knows him.
Okay, cool. Emily Tyra from Code Black is 34, and Nikki Blonsky from Hairspray is 33 today.
What a cool name. I wonder if she's blonde.
Nikki Blonsky?
Blonsky? Right. Polish for sure. All right.
Again, another way to tell that we're old when you start telling Polish jokes.
Exactly. And my favorite Polish joke, I've said it a bunch of times on the radio. Did you hear the one about the Polak that lost his chewing gum in the chicken coop?
No.
He thought he found it 5 times. Ew. All right.
Ew. Now, my father-in-law told a good joke the other day.
Okay.
And,
can you repeat it on the radio?
Yes, you always kind of have to hold your breath because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth, especially in mixed company. But I thought this was kind of cute or funny, or depending, I guess. Maybe I'll offend somebody with it. But
excellent.
It's why did the one-handed man cross the road?
I'm already offended. Why?
He was going to the secondhand store.
Oh, where's my rim shot? I wasn't ready for that. Okay, it's as good as it gets. That's sadly pretty good. All right, it happened today in history. It's not going to be a good day because in 1888, Jack the Ripper got his last known victim on this day. But at least it was the end of it. On to 1961, Neil Armstrong recorded a world record speed in a rocket plane, flying 4,092 miles per hour in an X-15.
Wow.
1989, communist-controlled East Germany opened checkpoints in the Berlin Wall, allowing its citizens to travel to West Germany. People started demolishing the Berlin Wall quickly after that, 1989.
The best rebellion action of all time. Right?
Yeah, we don't need this wall anymore. You shouldn't open the door, because now look what we're going to do. All right.
Give them an inch and they take a mile.
That's right. It was a good thing, though. 2002, thieves in the Lithuanian capital of Vilnius made off with 120 metal parking garages and cars parked inside them.
Wow.
How do you do that?
I wonder.
120 metal parking garages with cars. Huh. 2006, CBS newsman Ed Bradley died in New York at the age of 65. 2013, the USS Gerald R. Ford was christened by the U.S. Navy. The aircraft carrier cost $15.5 billion and was technically the most advanced ship ever built at the time.
Wow.
2017, let's skip that one. And 2020 became the busiest Atlantic hurricane season ever when Tropical Storm Theta was named the record 29th storm. Hello, Theta.
Hello, Theta.
All right. We go to Val for special events.
Oh, the first one is epic. It is Chaos Never Dies Day today.
Woo!
I don't know why we're celebrating that, but it's true.
All right.
World Freedom Day today.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to cause problems.
Okay. Go to an art museum day.
All right. There's something to do.
You have a gallery in town. That's pretty close, huh?
Yes.
All right. And then it's Greek Yogurt Day.
What makes yogurt Greek?
It's a special process that makes it extra thick.
Oh, are you sure?
I'm thinking.
You're thinking? It's not made from little bits of Greek people?
Well, that's one of those, what do they say, inactive ingredients?
Number of the day is 229. It's the grams of fat in a typical Thanksgiving meal. Suggested max in a day is 44. All right, 44 to 77 in the high end. But on Thanksgiving, you will eat 229 grams of fat.
Mine all comes from the butter I slather on my mother-in-law's rolls.
Oh. I'm going to get my extra large belt now.
Because Scott loves my mother-in-law's rolls.
Oh,
Who
man,
doesn't,
they're good. They're good.
They are.
I just every time I call them buns, I get that dirty look from Brad, so I'm not going to use that word this year.
Come on, buns,
yes,
buns.
I love your mom's buns. And it just doesn't sound right, does it?
It doesn't, but...
It doesn't go over very well at the Thanksgiving table either.
I don't know. We all can take a joke, can't we?
Yeah. All right, let's see. We're running a little early, so let's hit news and nuggets today. I have a treasure hunter who's found 130 gold coins from around 600 AD. This happened in England. They unearthed more than 130 gold coins from a field in West Norfolk. Metal detectionists, over a period of almost 30 years, have found the largest hoard of such items from the Anglo-Saxon period in England. The 131 coins, as well as 4 other gold objects dating back to 1,400 years ago, were sporadically sporadically discovered between 1991 and 2020. Most of the objects were found by a single anonymous detectorist who reported his finds to authorities. Last week, officials opened an inquest to determine whether the finds constitute treasure under the terms of the Treasure Act of 1996, which would make it the property of the Crown.
Well, I'm sure they're going to find some way to make it property of the Crown.
Yeah, they're going to take all of his gold.
Of course.
Typically, any 2 or more coins that contain more than 10% precious metal and are more than 300 years old are defined as treasure. Why would the Crown get stuff that's been buried in the ground and never known about? That's not fair.
Doesn't seem right.
No. So there's a secret. When you dig up something cool, don't tell anybody. All right.
So true.
Do you have one for us, Val?
Yeah, I think I'll go with this one. Most pet owners spare no expense when it comes to their furry family members. A survey of dog and cat owners looked at their spending habits regarding their furry companions and found that half of respondents said they spend more money on their pets every year than they do on themselves. We're talking 52% say that. The survey also found that 3 in 5 pet parents specifically allocate about $200 from each paycheck just for their pets' necessities.
Wow.
Surprisingly, yeah, that's a lot. My cat isn't that high maintenance, I guess. Unsurprisingly, food came out first on the list of both the most repurchased and expensive pet items, followed by toys, flea and tick treatments, and medicine.
Wow.
The average pet owner spends over $4,500 on their pet's basic needs every year.
Also seems a little excessive.
Yeah. 2 in 5 pet parents agree that having a pet is just as, if not more expensive than raising a child. And 61% confirm that having a pet is more costly than they initially thought. Overall, taking care of their pet's health isn't cheap, as 1/3 of pet parents said they usually end up exceeding their budget by at least $500 whenever they take their pet to the vet. Now that's sad. More than half of responders worry about their pet's health more than their own, and that comes in at 58% feel that way.
Wow. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. And how can they say it almost cost as much as a child? Are you sending your dog to college?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not in this household. I spent 2 boys to college to the tune of about $100,000.
I'm sorry, Mooch, you're out of luck. You're not going to college this year, at least. Wow.
That's a lot. I know that I bought Merlin kind of because he was old and extremely skinny. So I spent a lot of money trying to find, I shouldn't say a lot, but I spent some money trying to find food that he'd eat or that would put weight on him and stuff. But I would say it came to $30 some month, not $200 to $500.
Yeah, even if you're like feeding them the most expensive bottled water, like Perrier or something like that, it's not going to add up to that much.
I know. I want to know what these people are buying for that kind of money.
Wow. All right.
I love my cats, but
not that much.
A lot of money. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. This would make me attend church more regularly. Police in Nashville said a pastor tackled an armed man who threatened parishioners during church service. Desire Baganda pulled out a firearm while sitting in the front row, walked up to the church's altar waving the gun and pointing it at the congregation, telling those in attendance to get up. Pastor was praying with several members of the church at the time, but he reportedly tackled Baganda, with other members jumping in to disarm the suspect and holding him down until police arrived at the scene. No shots were fired and no injuries were sustained during the incident. Praise the Lord.
Did somebody get it on video? That's what I want to know.
Oh, man. Man, he could be pastor at any church he wants now.
I love it.
All right, I've been fantasizing about this for a long time. Can you tell me about Thanksgiving donuts?
That's probably going to add to your 228 grams of fat.
Oh.
Thanksgiving dinner means turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and avoiding political conversations and religion and questions about your love life. But it's also about giving thanks, recognizing those around you who support you in any way, and giving gratitude to yourself for whatever you went through this year. What better way to say thanks than with a Krispy Kreme donut? The donut chain is releasing a collection of limited edition donuts on theme for Thanksgiving. There's a pecan pie donut, a cranberry orange donut, a Dutch apple donut, and a specially decorated donut called the Gobbler. Which one of those would you want?
I'm going to go with the Dutch apple pie donut.
It sounds interesting. I love my pecan pie, so I might go that direction. But the pecan pie flavor has pecan pie filling, essentially brown sugar, corn syrup, and lots of butter. What wouldn't you like about that?
It's a heart attack in a circle.
That's right. But it has butter. Plus candied pecans and pie crust crumbles. The cranberry orange donut is very cranberry focused with cranberry filling, cranberry icing, and cranberry orange drizzle. The Dutch apple pie, which Scott sounds good, is filled with apple pie filling, dipped in caramel icing, and topped with cinnamon streusel cookie crumbles. And finally, the Gobbler is heart-shaped. That's interesting. But decorated to resemble a turkey. It has plenty of chocolate cream, red, orange, yellow, and brown sprinkles, and a turkey face made from fondant.
Wow. All right. Coronavirus news? Not again.
No, say it isn't so.
2 hyenas at the Denver Zoo have tested positive for coronavirus. Hyenas. It's a worldwide first. Animals were among several that were tested after the zoo's lions came down with the infection. The lions, ranging in age from 1 to 9 years old, were tested after zookeepers observed them coughing, sneezing, lethargy, and nasal discharge. All right, who was kissing the lions?
That's what I want to know.
I suppose they could have got it from somebody who didn't wash their hands and was, like, preparing their food, maybe?
Oh, that could be, I suppose.
Wow. Cross-contamination to lions and stuff. Likewise, the zoo's 2 tigers also came down with COVID-19, the first animals at the zoo to do so. The 2 11-year-old Amur tigers, Yuri and Nikita, tested positive for the virus that caused COVID-19 after staff also noticed similar symptoms in both animals, the zoo said in a previous statement. Now, hyenas are not feline or canine, but were among many animals tested once the big cats had been affected. A zoo official said the hyenas, 22-year-old Ngozi and 23-year-old Kibo, had mild symptoms, including slight lethargy, some nasal discharge, and a cough. Surprising thing here. All of the animals are now wearing masks without complaining.
Wow. And what I say, if you don't want to get shots for your fellow man because you think, well, if they're worried about it, they can get their own vaccine, protect the animals. Get vaccinated.
Wow. I'm keeping Mooch in now.
No kidding.
There's only
I would make her wear that little mask.
Here, a little kitty mask. Here you go. Oh, she wore the cone pretty good. The cone of shame. Yes. And Val, by the way, we're just going to put that on you for fun later.
Okay.
Especially after you do this.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing. Be afraid.
You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your odd news on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
So scary. Starting off with the news attack. This is the part of the show where we give you odd news, and this first one is a true statement followed by a bad joke. It's called the news attack, and Val kicks it off.
All right. A study suggests that fumes from traffic jams can actually cause brain damage.
You've been in traffic, haven't you?
I haven't, which explains why people can't merge or figure out how to use a blinker.
Oh, remember I was saying I spent 3 hours a day in traffic in Seattle? That's what happened to Scott.
It explains it all.
All right, some owners of Google phones. I didn't know there was a Google phone.
I did not either.
All right, say random calls being made to people in their contact list. I'm sorry about that, but while I have you on the line, let's talk about renting your car's warranty.
I guess I did know they have the Google Pixel. It's their phone. I guess their
Is that a phone?
Yeah, Google Pixel.
I thought it was like a movie.
In California, a bear wandered through some backyards and then took a dip in a swimming pool. Bears are known for that. It wasn't until he hit the pool's liquor locker, though, that the homeowners got around to calling the cops.
I know if I came out my back door and there was a pool, like a bear in my hot tub, I'd just go get in with him. I mean, who wouldn't?
People, that's what sitting in traffic does to you.
I mean, he's not going to care. He's chilling. He's like, hey, can I join you? See what he says. If he gets mad. All right. Oh, by the way, I had a notice on my phone yesterday. Update, thinking of Google phones. It said, would you like to upgrade to Android 11? And I click, sure. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Really?
Don't do it. Don't do it. I can't swipe on anything now. It changed all the gesture motions and stuff. I can't figure out how to get the thing up to close all the apps.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think it's 2 fingers instead of 1 now?
I don't know. I know it's 3 fingers and you can take a screenshot.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, but yeah, I actually started yelling at my phone last night and trying to look up how to revert it. It's not like a computer. You can't roll it back.
Wow.
So they got some serious bugs in it. Do not upload the new Android 11. That's all I'm saying.
The problem is, though, with even your phones, like your computer, it'll say for a couple times that, do you want to? And then pretty soon it's
does it.
You do. You might not know it, but you do.
You do. All right. Let's see. I think it's back to me. Cleveland, Ohio is America's most stressed out city. I'll bet you $20 Cleveland has the most coffee shops and the most potholes. Goes hand in hand.
It does. We talked about this earlier in the news and nuggets. The average pet owner spends over $4,500 on their pet's basic needs every year.
Wow.
Yeah, and by basic needs, does that include my cable TV subscription so my cat can watch Animal Planet?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good.
And that still doesn't reach the $4,500 a year, does it?
I hope not.
Supply chain issues are causing a shortage of fake Christmas trees, while natural disasters are causing a shortage of real Christmas trees. Like our forest just burning up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're thinking. I'll just take my axe over to the Chihuahua City Park.
I hope you're not thinking that.
Unless you want to watch your kids on the playground from across the street for 10 years, remove that thought from your head. Huh? I don't get that one. But okay, let's keep going.
All right. In a survey, over half of Americans believe stuffing and dressing are different. The difference? Stuffing is the seasoned bread you stuff inside the turkey before roasting it. Dressing is what you have trouble doing after stuffing yourself on Thanksgiving.
That's the joke I would have made. All right.
Quit wearing a dress then, Scott.
I know. No, it's actually I wear the dress, then I don't have to worry about unbuckling my belt.
That works.
Thanksgiving
solved.
Thanksgiving is just around the corner. My fondest memory of Thanksgiving is the entire family gathered around the table, forks and knives in hand, waiting for Dad to pick up the bucket of chicken from the KFC. I've done that before.
Shh.
On to the world of wacky but true. We don't add anything to these but sound effects, and Val is here to kick us off.
All right. Wacky but true. Someone on Reddit was at n-az-n has shared a 26-second video of 2 drivers pulled over on the side of the road in Portland, Oregon. One man is waving what appears to be a samurai sword while yelling at the other, and the other man responds by opening his trunk and pulling out what the poster identifies as an alleged AK-15. The man with the samurai sword is shouting at the other driver as he swings the sword over his head. However, the other driver seems unfazed and doesn't flinch. As the sword-wielding man repeatedly makes gestures at the other driver before retreating to his car, the other driver pops his trunk open and retrieves a rifle. The man filming the incident is watching from his vehicle, and evidently you can find the video online.
Nice. So he took a sword to an AK-47 fight.
Yes, not brilliant.
Wow. I'd be looking at the guy with the AK-47 going,
"This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
It's not fair. I brought a sword." All right. And what state was that?
That was in Portland, Oregon.
Really? I would have thought it would have been down south. And then I could have played
Florida or something.
Yeah, and then I could have played this.
Enjoy your hillbilly festival.
Didn't work out. All right.
Oh, wow.
All right. I love these. Upstate New York, Syracuse firefighters responded to a historic landmark theater on Friday morning after an employee heard a man yelling for help and called 911. Apparently, the unidentified 39-year-old man got into the building last Tuesday.
Ooh.
Tuesday.
He'd been in there for a while.
Yeah, and managed to get into a crawl space. He stayed there for 2 days before he fell into a space in the wall of the men's bathroom and became trapped. Firefighters on Friday drilled a hole in the wall and used a fiber optic camera to find his location. They cut through several layers of drywall and structural clay tile to free the man, who was naked.
Oh, of course.
Naked in the wall. Who breaks into a theater, hides for 5 days, naked.
Naked.
The man had been seen wandering around the theater earlier in the week. Doesn't say whether his clothes were on or off.
That's true.
Employees lost track of the man and thought he had left the building.
Elvis has not left the building.
Oh, he's in your crawl space, and he's not wearing any clothes. Now, what would you... Go ahead.
That should be creepy but true, not wacky but true.
Creepy but true. Now, what do you think if you're a firefighter? I mean, you know the guy's going to be weird because he's in a wall, right?
Right.
But what about when you actually pull him out?
And he's naked.
And he's naked. I would quit my job.
I can face down people bleeding to death with coronavirus or whatever, but not the naked man in the wall.
No. And he didn't even say, I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday because he didn't have any. You know what Val says when a naked guy comes out of the wall?
He's here! My mystery date!
Sorry. Just a joke, Val. All right. All right. You are up.
The city of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, announced Monday that a trash barrel had somehow washed up in Ireland more than 3,500 miles away. It was Keith McGreal of Ireland who contacted Myrtle Beach and shared pictures of the bright blue barrel with city stickers on it. He wrote, I wanted to share some images of a blue trash barrel that has been washed up on our local beach on the west coast of Ireland, Mulroney, County Mayo. They get right into it. We spotted the stickers and thought it would make a good news story. The city posted the photos online showing that the barrel's Atlantic crossing took enough time for it to be encrusted with shells. City officials believe the barrel must have been carried away in the Gulf Stream during a major wind or storm event.
Oh. Wow, that story is so exciting.
When I grow up, I'm going to Bovine University.
More bear stories. Here's a bear who took a stroll through a California neighborhood and paused for a dip in the resident's backyard pool. Bear eventually wandered out of the area. Authorities said the bear is believed to be familiar with the area. It's likely the same animal previously spotted by locals in a different pool.
Of course, he's making the rounds of all the pools. Kind of like I make the rounds of all the bars.
All right, so look for him in a pool near you. Val, will you wrap it up? I like this.
In Germany, a 49-year-old man went on a drinking binge one night and got so wasted he couldn't stand up. When he emptied his last bottle, he still wanted more, but since he couldn't walk, he borrowed his father's electric wheelchair to go to a nearby store to get more booze. Unfortunately, he couldn't control the wheelchair very well, so a police officer who spotted him weaving down the street pulled the drunk over. The cop couldn't charge him with a crime, but did help the man by driving him home with the wheelchair in the cruiser's trunk. Along the way, the officer also explained that, no, he couldn't make a quick stop at the liquor store.
Whoa.
Can you imagine asking the cop to make a quick stop at the liquor store for you?
What are you doing? Die!
Wow, that's awesome. Now, I don't understand why he couldn't write him a ticket, because I've seen before, like in stories like this, where people have been like drunk on a lawnmower and gotten pulled over and got a DUI for driving drunk on the lawnmower. Why not on an electric wheelchair?
Yeah, I mean, some places have, what is it called? Public intoxication.
Sure.
So you'd think there'd be a way around it, but maybe Germany is, hey, it's Germany.
Oh, yeah.
That explains that we missed that critical clue as to how this happened.
Yeah, the similarities between America and Germany are amazing.
Enjoy your hillbilly festival.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's totally right. I remember that now. All right, that is our show for today. Tonight on the radio, it's Tuesday. It means we got 2 live ones for you. First in tonight will be at 6 o'clock, Dr. Jazz. 3 hours of jazz music. Of course, we do different genres of music every night at 6, and then it just keeps continuing up till about midnight. So we've got jazz tonight, 6 to 9. Then Philip comes in, and he brings you some punk music and a little bit of alternative stuff. It's called Fat Stacks, and that'll take you from 9 to 11. Both shows live, both shows local, and both shows right here on KCHW 102.7. Other than that, we want you to have a great day. I'm Scott.
And I'm Val.
And I picked out the special last sound effect for us, Val. Okay?
Oh, I'm so excited.
I just felt a little clunky today, and I thought this would be perfect. Okay?
Oh, no! We suck again!
Well,
speak for yourself.
Not so much. All right. Have a great day. Keep on listening to KCHW. We appreciate it. Bye, Val.
Bye, Scott.
Silent breathing people!
All right, look, lady.
Don't you point those dirty green sausages at me!
He's here! My mystery day!
What are you doing? God!
This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
You're listening to Northern Lights Public Radio on 102.7 KCHW. Chewelah, Loon Lake, Clayton.
It's 9:01.
Your KCHW morning show made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock tires, provide collision repairs including glass, and they have an auto sales